Hey everybody, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra here, doing a little bit of vehicle stuff with Neil, our CMO. And so we were sitting here and on our last video that we did that you saw around the vehicles, we were talking about getting a gun out effectively from the driver's seat and getting shots into somebody who's standing at our door. One of the things that we didn't talk about there though is then what happens and how we are going to egress the vehicle afterwards. So Neil's going to talk to us about that.
New Bold Targets is now Throom. Throom targets are lightweight, weatherproof, take thousands of rounds of shooting and make shooting fun. Pick up a set for your next range trip.
Yeah, so a couple of things that we didn't really discuss last time is as you're drawing a firearm, from the passenger side, you don't have this big steering wheel in front of you.
Open.
So the kicking the hips and getting that thing out, you got to really keep that gun close to you as you come up to that position to either marry up or make your turn or whatever, just to make sure that you're not going to get fouled up here. Because if you get fouled up here and slide around, you're going to point a gun at yourself.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first thing. And the second thing is if you get it inside the gaps here, then all of a sudden you're going to be fighting that as well. And with all the adrenaline going off, bad things are going to happen.
Which is why we practice that. We put our hands together where we're happy and we know it, right?
But some people are happy where they know it out here, or a little further out. So understand that if your happy place is out here, when you're in the car, you need to adjust that, and you need to think for that.
Real tight.
Yep.
Real
tight and up into you. The next thing is.
So why don't you show us that?
So as we come out now, I'm kicking my hips and I'm really pushing my hand into my body so that gun, as it comes out, it naturally floats up. Now I'm aiming at the this is the
steering wheel,
the least amount of or the direction of least consequences. Right now, if I have to have a gun out, that's the best place to go right now, right? So, but as I'm turning like so and rotating down onto the target for my shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
No firing right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to fire right now, but the challenge is, and I don't want to do this because this is a hot gun, but if I catch right here as I'm turning, bad things could happen. I could flip that thing right out of my own hand.
Okay, so we got the gun out.
Yep.
We got our shots on target. We avoided our steering wheel. Now, for whatever reason, we had the gunfight rather than driving off.
Right.
And we're just going to say, man, if I've just had a gunfight in my vehicle, I'm probably not going to stay in the vehicle.
Exactly. The operator guys that have had lots of training in this kind of stuff call this a coffin. Get out.
If it can't move and you've been in and people are trying to kill you in here, you gotta
now if you can put it in drive and get down the street half a block, pull over and call 911, that's a different story. But if we're looking at different kinds of scenarios, a scenario where I had to draw and fire likely because my car was already incapacitated.
Yep.
So now I need to get out. Now, if I have to get out, I've got the big thing holding me in here is the seat belt, and then I don't get to use this hand. So I don't want to switch hands and use my strong side hand to undo the seat belt. So I need to keep this thing in a safe direction, reach across, and then unhook the seat belt. But then, as I've been taught this, is slide my hand underneath there and get your fingers out of it and then push it around like so. So I don't have my arm stuck in this thing as I'm getting out, because that's not a normal way to do that.
So here's what we're doing. I'm going to show you this from this passenger position. Is that if I just hold this like we kind of normally would, like this, then what can happen is it can catch my arm, right? So what I really want to do is once I get that unlatched, then I swim my hand underneath it, and then it comes off my shoulder.
Yep. And then as I step out, I'm not grabbed by my own seatbelt.
Right.
So then I keep my hand. Of course, I don't want to point the gun at my hand as I'm flailing around here. So the gun is up. I always have to be cognizant of where that is. I open the door, I turn, and I step out without pointing the gun at myself. I do whatever I've got to do, holster up. And in practice, we're just holstering up, right? I may need to get to the back of the pickup for some cover, whatever the case may be. All of that is another stuff, right?
Yep.
But the big thing is get out of the vehicle safely without pointing a gun at yourself.
I think that's a big one, guys. This is the things that you can practice with a blue gun, with a cert gun. Getting out on a range like this, it takes a pretty special range in order to do this kind of stuff. And of course, if you're in a public place, like you live in an apartment, or you don't have garage parking or something like this, be real cautious doing this kind of stuff, because you'll get a visit from the local constabulary. Somebody's going to call the cops. But if you can do this in a garage, if you have the ability to maybe pull your car into a bay or a backyard or something like that, where you're not doing that in any kind of danger, I think this is stuff that you really ought to practice.
You might be able to do it from your couch.
Oh, okay, I think that's a good idea.
You could at least work on some of the hand movements.
Share fly it.
And understand that. You could do your finger stuff as well. But the more of this kind of stuff that you do out in the open, the more attention you draw to yourself, and the chances are you get to visit with somebody with a badge.
That's true. Well, guys, hope it helps you. Neil, great job.
Thanks, Brad.